Today for the 12 months of Christmas challenge, we're going to make a reversible block set. Hey, it's Beth. Welcome. For my 12 months of Christmas challenge that I have for myself, I thought I would make one of our reversible Christmas and Thanksgiving block sets with you all. So this challenge is something that I created for myself to help encourage me and motivate me to work on Christmas projects throughout the year, to either help me prep for fall craft shows, which are going on right now, or just to help me get some personal Christmas projects done so that I'm not scrambling to get it all done at the same time. In the late or in fall or early December. My friend Kathy, who's Stampin' Cat on Instagram, is also doing this along with me. I think she's working on trying to get her Christmas cards ready for herself to be able to send out in early December. But I've made block sets with you before, and I know some of you really enjoy it. So I just thought I would kind of walk you through the process of how I make them. It's one of our top sellers. It's a reversible set, so you'll kind of see pictures at the end how it looks. But I have a set of blocks here, and I will leave the dimensions for you in the description box and kind of talk about it as I'm going through the process. But I have they're just 2x4s that have been cut down and stained, or sanded and stained. And then I used my silhouette to cut a set of letters. One says Merry, the other one will say Happy. You'll see that on the reverse side. And then I'm going to do a block that will go at the bottom. I've got some papers cut to cover up it. This is just cut down from a 2x6. Again, sanded and stained. And then I also used my silhouette to cut out some vinyl to say Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it'll say Merry Christmas on one side, Happy Thanksgiving on the other. I also have some Mod Podge in this little dish here. I use the matte Mod Podge. You don't need a bottle this big. I just buy the big jugs because it's more economical for the amount of blocks that I make and need it for. So I have some of that in this little blue dish, which actually came from Mod Podge. It comes in a set with the little scraper tool that I'm going to be using. And then I also have a foam brush. And then that is what I use for the glue and kind of a initial seal coat. And then to seal it at the end for even more protection, I do use Minwax polyacrylic clear matte. Again, it just adds extra protection, and so I will use a separate foam brush for that as well. I have this black scraper from Mod Podge, which I do use to kind of help smooth out the paper, work out any bubbles. And then I also have it's really dirty and I'm sorry, but I also have this scraper that I use to burnish down my vinyl really well on the that long block. And this is from Expressions Vinyl, and you can get them, I think you can even get these at Dollar Tree, but you can also use a credit card. But that is the tool. Those are the tools I'm using. I also have some just wax paper, plain old wax paper that I put down to kind of protect my work surface because when I'm putting Mod Podge on the back of the paper, I do get glue everywhere. So that is what I'm working with. So let's jump into the project. I am so sorry, but I somehow forgot to record the first 4 letters. I must have just been so excited to get started on this project that I completely didn't turn on the camera. But that's okay. You haven't really missed a lot because I'm going to be doing the same things on like multiple times here. So I put Mod Podge on the back, or I put it on the block itself, the wood surface, and on the back of the paper. And what this does is, I feel, 1, it allows you some wiggle room to move your paper around on the surface. And 2, I feel that having the glue on the back of the paper and on the surface just helps to prevent more air bubbles. And then by burnishing it down and smoothing it down also helps to work out any of those air bubbles and gets it as smooth as possible. So you can see I have already done the Christmas M on one side, and I'm going to come and do the Happy Y on the other. If you were making this for yourself, you would probably just do the Happy H, but because we are putting these out to sell, we want them to read correctly from both sides so that people can see exactly what they're getting from both sides of the set. So again, I put the Mod Podge on the wood and on the back of the paper and am burnishing it down. So Mod Podge can be dual purpose. It can act like a glue and a sealer. So when you're putting the Mod Podge on the back of the block and on the paper, it's acting as a glue. And you're going to see here in a minute that once I get this burnished down, which I probably tend to over burnish it, but I just want to make sure it's as smooth as possible since these are going to be, sold. So now I'm putting Mod Podge over the whole block, and it is acting as a sealer or a protective coat. So like I said, Mod Podge can be kind of an all-in-one. Obviously it's a decoupage project. It can be an all-in-one glue, sealer. One thing that I have found is if you just use the Mod Podge as a sealer by itself, it can get tacky depending on the humidity or heat that the project is being stored in or used in. And when it's tacky, it can stick to things. So you'll see, I showed you that Minwax sealer in the beginning of the video. I will come in with that at the end and do 2 coats of that as well, just to make sure that kind of removes the stickiness, the tackiness that the Mod Podge has. So I've sped it up a little bit more now because I'm doing the same thing on all 5 blocks twice, essentially. So you're gonna, if you missed it the first time, you do still get to see it. It's just Mod Podging and burnishing. If you would like to make some of these blocks, we do have kits available in our online store, which I will link below. You can get the full kit, which includes the stained blocks, ready to use, the paper letters, and the vinyl for the long block that goes underneath it. And we do have a variety of the season combinations that you could purchase. And the kit then also comes with a brush and some Mod Podge. So kind of the only thing you would have to provide is a surface and something to burnish with. So, and that you can use, like I said, an old credit card, an old gift card, key card, like a room card for a hotel, or if you have a vinyl scraper, if you have the Pampered Chef, like stone scrapers, that works well. You just want to go with a lighter touch. If you have something like the one I'm using is more like rubber silicone, and so it's not as, I guess, sharp. So if you're using something that is like plastic or harder, you just want to make sure you use a lighter touch. But so you can go with the full kit route, or if you have the ability to cut your own letters and you want to do that so you can get your own papers, your own designs, you can order just the prepared blocks. So then, you would get the set of 6 blocks that are ready to use. We do have that option as well. So those will both be on the same listing for you. You would just choose which option you wanted, the full kit or just the blocks. But I just wanted to throw that out there if you don't have the ability to cut the letters and or prepare the blocks on your own. So I'm finishing up with the last Y and got that seal coat on. And now I'm going to work on the long block. So this, I've just cut some more solid paper down to kind of be the background. And the same process, I put Mod Podge on the block and on the back of the paper. And then I'm going to, you can kind of see here where I was able to slide it around a little bit. And that's one of the benefits of putting the Mod Podge on the paper and the surface. And then I'm just going to burnish it down really well. This block does tend to have the potential for more air bubbles just because it's a more solid piece of paper. So I do work this one a little bit more. The bigger your paper, the more potential for air bubbles you have, like especially in the center of it. So I flipped it over and I'm going to be working on the back side, like the Thanksgiving side. And I'm doing the same thing to burnish it down. The block sizes, I think I said I would mention that. The block sizes range from 4 3/4 to 6.5. So the two outer ones are 6.5 inches tall. The center one is 5.5 inches tall, and the two shorter ones are 4 3/4. And then this block is 2 by 10-ish. So I had my vinyl cut in white, and I'm just using some transfer tape to apply it to my block, making sure it is as centered as I can eyeball it. I am an eyeballer, and I've done this enough. I kind of have a general idea of where it's going to go. And then I also have Thanksgiving that I do it in brown or black. It depends on, the set. I think this one is black. And I'm just going to work the backing off. You can see that some of the backing stuck a little bit. But I'm going to add that to the block and then remove the transfer tape. And then I'm going to burnish the vinyl down with that vinyl scraper there, just to make sure that there's no air bubbles in the vinyl and that it's going to stick really well. And then I come in with my first seal coat of Mod Podge. Yes, the vinyl is sticky, but I also want to kind of help protect the paper as well. So I do the same process that I do when it's just paper. So now I've come back and I am working on my second coat of Mod Podge, and I'm just doing it the same way that I did the first coat. I'm just applying one good coat over the whole block, and you can see I do come in and do the top. And then I do a coat on the bottom, but I don't show that just because of dry time for the video. But I'm just, this second coat, just again, I'm all about making sure that these are well protected so that whoever buys them, they are going to be durable, they are going to last. The extra coats of sealant also help, if you were to drop it, it gets a little less banged up, I guess, with the extra seal coats. So that is another reason why I do the extra coats. So now I have let that dry and set up overnight, and I'm coming back in and opening my can of the Minwax and am giving it a good stir with a popsicle stick. So in the kit, you do not get the Minwax seal coat just because it's not, most people don't use it. I just do it because I'm selling it and want to make sure that people are getting the best product that they can get. But I do take a foam brush again and just do 2 coats of this, and then let each coat dry really well. And then we have boxes that we store them in and sell them in, that they all fit perfectly. And so you will be getting that box if you order the kit as well. And the boxes are great to store it in. It keeps it from, getting what's the word I'm looking for here? It's too early in the morning. It just kind of keeps them all flat and level and together, and from maybe getting dinged up and sticking to something else depending on where you're going to store it. So these are fun like group projects as well that we have found. We've had people order like 25, and like a church group will, do this together for the holidays. So it's also a fun crafty night project with friends, family, or larger groups. But it's also our best seller because you're getting 2 for 1. And it's a great mantle decoration. So here is what it looks like when it's finished. You've got the Merry Christmas side. And on the other side, all you have to do is, after Thanksgiving, you can turn it around to the Christmas. But you've got 2 holidays, 2 seasons ready to go, easy to store. But I hope you guys enjoyed this process. Thank you so much for your time, and hope you all have a very crafty day.